All right, today I have a returning guest. 6 months ago, I had Mom Said Duck, Jill Moysiuk on, and I'm so happy that she's back again. Hey, how's it going?
Good, Tracy. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I mean, since we've done the last podcast, she was live on stage at Cortisone Theater, and that was so stinking funny.
Oh
my
I'm
God.
so glad that you liked it.
I was going back because on your Instagram feed, you have a lot of your poems. I like that one. What is it? Every time you say bitch or shit? Or,
Oh, yeah. Take a shot every time I say snack bitch. Yeah.
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 I'm like, oh, I love that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers
right?
to that. Yeah. Hey. So what's new and exciting?
So I have another show coming up. Again, I actually booked the next show at Corda the very day after I had my show in May. Just because I was on such a high, and I'm like, I don't want to talk myself out of doing this again. So I'm just going to book it right now. So I sent an email and got that booked right away.
Yeah. In case this is the first time that you are watching this podcast or listening, my name is Tracy Martins, and this is YQG and Bloom podcast. We are everything local to the Windsor-Essex County area, small businesses, comedians, wonderful people, events, charities, you name it. I have it on my podcast, so make sure that you like and subscribe to it so that it can stay free for all the businesses. Now, getting back to your event that's coming up November 29th, that sold out really fast.
It did. It sold out pretty quick. And I, I was like really excited and grateful again and all that good stuff. So I actually capped my ticket sales for my other one, like my first one, kind of at a smaller group, just because I wanted to. It's my first time and whatever. And then so once I had that feeling, I was like, okay, I think I can do this again. So I increased the ticket sales in terms of capacity, and so yeah, I sold out that one too. So I'm really excited.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So you must write a lot.
I have a lot of poems. Yeah. And so I
Yeah.
think it's just a testament to like, having done this for so many years, I've been kind of putting in the work for a long time now. So
Yeah.
it's sort of like, I was just thinking about it today. It feels like things are finally coming to fruition, I guess. Like in terms of, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't know how to monetize Mom Said Duck or anything like that. And so a lot of good things have sort of aligned for me in the last year or so, I'd say, and it's kind of on the trajectory that I like to see. So it's all good.
So have you started to monetize yet?
Well,
Or-
just like through ticket sales.
Through the ticket sales?
Yep, and
Okay.
stuff like that. I have something up my sleeve for this upcoming show that I'll be announcing soon, and so yeah, just different things. Just kind of trying to feel my way through the whole entrepreneurial journey.
That's the scary part, is like, when's the appropriate time to have merch, and what should I have? What will people like? But just save me one of whatever it is,
Yeah.
and I'll get it.
All right, sounds good to me.
I almost waited on those ticket sales. I'm like, I'm gonna wait and see if I win that the contest you had, and I'm like, no, I know damn well I'm not, and I didn't, so I'm glad.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm glad. And then I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, I just got one ticket. I'll sit with Carrie again. And she can't make it.
Oh, that's too bad.
I'm
yeah.
like, well, of course, thanks.
Yeah.
She was so bummed
Yeah.
out. And Carrie is a girl that I know through my aunt, and you went to high school with her, and we
Grade school. Yeah.
And she was in the audience the last time I went by myself, and I sat with her, and it's just funny. Windsor's such a small town.
Exactly. Yeah,
It really is.
They say in New York City it's 4 degrees of separation. I think Windsor's like 1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't take long.
That's the one thing I always told my son when he was growing up. It's like, this is not the town to try and pull too much, because everybody knows somebody, and it's going to get back.
Yep, for sure.
And it does, because you just look on Facebook, and it's surprising. It's like, how do they know that person? And
Mutual friends and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Totally. Yeah, for sure.
so Mom Said Duck, the poetry and your poems and all that, how long have you been doing that? Because it hasn't been too long.
It's been a minute. I always think about Mom Said Duck as like a baby. So like I'm like 4.5 years old. Like Mom Said Duck is 4.5 years old. So so it's like, I'm not a toddler anymore. I'm like, kind of graduated kindergarten. I'm moving into grade 1, type thing. That's how I kind of look at it. So, and that's very much how Mom Said Duck feels, where it's like just starting to emerge into my own little, that kind of thing. So, yeah. 4.5 years it's been, that I've been plugging away at it. So, probably 5, because I was doing stuff behind the scenes before I ever really launched. So probably 6 months or longer. So yeah, probably 5 years. So it's been a minute for sure.
And just for people that might not have seen the podcast from 6 months ago, which you should watch, by the way, she used to be in HR. So you can't get a more boring job to end up being basically, you say you write poetry, but you're a comedian. Yeah. Because they're funny as hell.
Aw, thanks. That's awesome. Thank you. More and more people have been calling me that. And it's like, I'm just like, sitting with it and like being like, okay, maybe I'm a comedian. I don't know. Yeah.
You are. This is just your way of doing it. And it may even evolve from that. Because, this evolved from your mom throwing that book at you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Now, when did you write that book? It wasn't even a book. It was just her writings.
Yeah, no. So how Mom Said Duck came to be was after I had lost my job and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And I was kind of in this like, a bit of a grieving period type thing. And my mom came over and tossed a book at me that I had written when I was 10 years old. And it's called What's Good for a 10-Year-Old. And I was just amazed because I didn't just write the book. I created the book in terms of like the actual hard material and all that stuff, the pages inside. And I drew all the pictures and I colored them all and all that stuff. And it was just really interesting for me to read this book that I had written, which was a rhyming book. As a 10-year-old, because it was a really good book, I thought. And I was 10 when I wrote it, which just blew me away because I had always said about myself that I'm not a creative person. I always said that I don't have a creative bone in my body. And so this book that I wrote myself when I was a little kid sort of like proved me wrong, which was like such an interesting like thing to sort of realize about myself. And then the next morning I woke up, my little guy was a toddler, woke up, came in bed between my husband and I was massaging his little toes back to sleep and thought, I wonder if I can make a little poem about his body after reading that book the day before. Like I couldn't stop reading that book. And then so sure enough, I wrote this little poem about his body and then thought to myself, that was pretty good. I should write it down. So I wrote it down. When my husband woke up, I read it to him and he thought it was good too. And that's kind of how it all started. I just kept writing more and more poems from there. So.
And it's all about being a mom and a spouse because there's some things about, how dads are there and helping.
I definitely poked some fun at the dads for sure. But it's all in good fun. Like,
your family was all there that night and they were all laughing too.
I don't know about all. I actually said before the show, I was like nervous because my kids were there. It was my first show and I knew I probably would love it and want to do it again. So I wanted them to be there for the first one instead of just seeing it on tape. And so I said to a lot of people, as much as I want to have Violet and Edison there, I'm scared something's going to be said that they're going to be like mad at me about or like, legit need to go to therapy for kind of thing. Because who knows? You're just kind of off the cuff, right?
Yeah.
And then, so I read 2 poems before intermission. There is an intermission in the show. It's 2 hours long, so it's quite lengthy. In the first set I did, I read a poem where I said something about my son's penis, essentially. And I said, one day my youngest asked me, but why does my penis have an eye? And then I read the poem Snack Bitch soon after that. And then so when I got backstage, I went pee and I came out and I was ready to go back on the stage a couple minutes later, but my kids were there. I'm like, oh, hey guys, how's it going? Like, are you having fun? Kind of thing. And they were standing there like this, both of them. And so I'm like, what? And so my daughter said, Eddie's mad at you because you said that he said that his penis has an eye and he never said that. He said he never said that. And I said, he didn't. I said, it just rhymed. And then she said, and I don't know why you had to say the B word so many times. And I said, I know, she's just so sweet though and innocent and
she's
that's just her.
that age.
And she's that age for sure, right? So it's embarrassing mom saying stuff like that, right? So I was like, I'm like, you guys are totally right. Like, I gotta go though. So we'll put a pin in this and we'll come back to it later. So yeah, they ended up actually getting Toys R Us out of it because my cousin and her wife decided that it would be a good idea to, tell them to make sure that I brought them to Toys R Us for those two mishaps there. So they got Toys R Us out of it. So it's all good.
I think Violet, right?
Violet, yep.
I think she enjoyed it because I remember seeing her during intermission with your mom and we were grabbing the snacks and that's when I told her, I'm like, I said, you can always get your mom back and do some poems and we can call it Daughter Said Duck. And she looked and it's like, and your mom's like laughing. I'm like, yeah, there's always ways that you can pay back.
Oh, I always say, like, if the world comes around to bite me in the butt, it's going to be something like that. My husband does Dad Said Duck, or my kids do, Daughter Said Duck, or Kids Say Duck. Yeah, something like that.
Do you see any of the writing or, the artistic side coming out in either of them?
So Violet is super artistic. That's like her like, with this whole, kind of finding myself through this stuff that sort of brought me back to my 10-year-old self. It sort of has shown me that like, it's kind of put a lens on like, I think that maybe instead of like searching for who we are, it's kind of going back to who you were, type thing. And so if that's true, not just for me, and then it would be true for my kids, then I think that she'll always be an artist in some way in her life. So I think that's a really, she inspires me really.
Edison's obviously, he's not old enough to understand what happened. But I think Violet was on the cusp of understanding that you went through this huge change and you came out and you're successful and you're enjoying it and you're having fun. And it's nice to see, to have them see that maybe, sometimes if some shitty stuff happens, better stuff can happen because of it. So
yeah, I hope so. I hope that's the part of the reason I wanted them there that night was to kind of see that through, where it's like they actually have a full on example of like seeing something like that. So so that was it was a big moment for me to have them there, even though I will likely have to pay for their therapy one day.
That's okay. That's why you need merch.
Yeah, that's why I need merch. That's right. I should use it as a sign.
Yes.
Help pay for therapy. I like that. Cheers to that.
That one's a good one. Oh, man. So are they going to be at this one?
They're not going to be at this one. No.
They said enough.
No, yeah. No, they like kind of brought it up and I'm like, it's cool, guys. Like, like really, I don't want to be like, Mom said duck and, like the odd, whatever swear word comes out. Maybe it's more than odd, but I want to be able to kind of like let loose and feel whatever, right? So I'm kind of like looking forward a little bit to like not having to
be so...
Yeah, a little bit. Like I was a little bit that night. I didn't say certain things I might have said.
There was also nerves.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So this one, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I like that. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Oh, thanks.
So in 6 months, how many poems do you think you've written?
So, I send out a poem every Friday to my Fresh Poem Friday newsletter subscribers, and which is awesome because it holds me accountable. But over the course of 4.5 years, it has become sort of unattainable for me to write a new poem every single week, which I signed up for at the beginning. So I understand. So I try to kind of hold that promise. But sometimes what I do is send out a frozen poem, I call it. It's not so fresh, but it gives me an opportunity to take an old poem, recycle it, but tweak it and edit it and make it better and make it tighter, which I really like because I don't know if I would be going back to do that as often as I might, doing it this way kind of thing. Yeah. So it's nice because I think long term that will help me out in terms of, one day I do want to put all of the poems into a book. And so they'll be more ready. They'll be tighter at that point.
So you are going to, because the last time when I had brought up you doing a book, you're like, no.
It's, it's that is still the answer because I'm just not ready yet. Like I'm not done writing poems.
For sure. But but you don't have to be done. This could be the first chapter.
Yeah.
And then you can always
But it's taken me this long to write 100 of them. So like, yes and no. Like I can't imagine I'm going to write 100 and then like over the course of the next 10 years write another 100. It's a lot because my poems are so sort of generic. Like they're like school lunches, doing dishes, summer vacation, like that kind of thing. I dig into the weeds about other things too, but yeah, we'll see. Who knows what the future holds? But how I kind of see it is maybe when I get to like I'm just shy of 100. So maybe when I get to 100, that's when I'll.
It could be a small book.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, my original goal back when I first started was that I was going to write 365 so that I could have a book for moms at like their baby shower and stuff like that, where it's like basically like. You're good, read this poem one a day and like you'll kind of feel normal again. Like everything's cool. Like it is crazy. Everything you're going through is crazy, but we all go through it kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So how many poems have you wrote so far?
So I'm like just shy of 100.
Just shy of 100?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then each one is about 2 to 3 minutes long. Mm-hmm. So they're quite long. And so at that show that you came to see, I only read 1/3 of them. So I have like a lot of stuff left. So that's the other thing too. I want to kind of get them all out there.
Yeah, because I was just thinking when you said 365 was your goal, and it's like that would be perfect merch is have a one a day calendar.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. Yeah. So, and then actually the book would be titled Mom of the Year. And then my Mom of the Year poem would either be at the very beginning or the very end, something like that. So, yeah.
Definitely our Mom of the Year.
Yeah. I mean, you heard the poem.
You are. I don't
very
care.
Sarcastic, that's
I'm
for
sorry.
sure.
After what you went through today, her son had an issue and
an issue.
He vomited all over a 70-year-old carpet. Yeah. Were you able to get it out?
Yeah, I mean, I got it out. I don't smell any residual smells or anything, so that's good. So yeah, I think we're all good. Yeah.
You just have to fix the slipper.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I mean, it's like, I guess an excuse to buy. I just love when they're like so perfect, Like there's something about that like coziness of like having your slippers in the winter and you got your feet. But then I don't look at like the avocado stain on it now. Little shit. You had to see my stories today to know what the heck we're talking
you
about.
have to follow her Instagram, and that's at Mom Said Duck. And they're funny. Your stories are funny.
Oh, thanks, Tracy.
Your poems are funny. And I mean, you're a funny person. I don't know how in the hell you ever did HR.
Yeah, well, you had to have a sense of humor to do the type of HR I was doing because it was more, so it was like HR and labor relations, but it was for the automotive industry. So it was manufacturing. So, I mean, it was like a just-in-time. I wasn't necessarily like a corporate-y HR labor relations person. I was like a manufacturing elbow grease kind of on the front lines more.
So you were able to be a little looser than that.
Yeah, I had to be. Yeah, for sure.
A little of this underneath the table. And
well, just like, like I said, you had to have kind of a, I think that I think I was good at my job. And I think the reason I was good at my job is partly because I kind of could, just have fun or not have fun, but like make light or whatever of things that kind of came up or whatever, just kind of roll with the punches of manufacturing.
Yeah.
So
you don't happen to remember any pieces of a poem that you could tell us?
Like I know a couple off by heart, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, I would love to hear one to kind of give the people that haven't followed you yet a little snippet of the type of poems that you have that are so funny.
Yeah, well, I don't know when this show is going to be like produced in terms of like a date that it would be aired, but I was going to.
Well, it is November 5th. I'm going to stop you right there. Mm-hmm. November 5th, and yes, it's election day. Part of the reason we're drinking.
Yeah.
It would be in probably 2 weeks.
In
so
2 weeks?
It would be before your show.
So I was gonna say I could debut my new one here, but we'll save that for the big night. But yeah, I can give you two OGs that I know off the top of my head. Do you want the sweet one first or the funny one first?
Let's go sweet.
Sweet? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so my sweet one is called Mom Guilt. Mom guilt is real as the struggle. It's as real as you feel when your kid and you snuggle. Have I told her I loved her any more times than him? Should I read books after bath or finally go to the gym? Oh my God, there is a mess in each room I seem to pass. Do I do the damn dishes or sit down and help with her math? Did they get outside enough and eat more veggies than sweet treats? Was that cucumber organic? We've been more conscious about meat. Mama, will you play with me? Is something that I often hear, but it's far and few between if I dare look into a mirror. In fact, sometimes I scream and shout and likely look like a buffoon. Perhaps I'll learn to meditate or maybe buy them that balloon. It can creep up out of the blue when you do not expect it there. Mom guilt can overcome you, and it really isn't fair. So if you're anything like me and these thoughts also intervene, just focus, smile, and laugh. Then promptly fix your crown, my queen.
Love that.
Thank you.
And it's true. Mom guilt, if you're a fur mom or a regular mom, that's true. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I have 30-year-old kids, 28-year-old. And yeah, you have that guilt that, am I there enough? Am I giving them enough space or too much space? And yeah,
all
that
stuff.
One was nice.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, actually my husband's grandmother, who we got that rug from, that 70-plus-year-old rug, before she passed away, she was my biggest fan. And she passed away at 96, so probably, or 90, just before 90, she turned 98. So probably around the time she was 96, when I don't know if she read the poem or if I read the poem to her, but either way, she said that she still has mom guilt.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was I had never it didn't even cross my mind. And then when she said it, I was like, oh my goodness, there's no escaping it.
It's true. And oh my God, your grandma lasted that long. Mine was 96.
Yeah, 96. Yeah. She was, I think, 3 weeks or something short of her 98th birthday. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think mine was a month short of her 97th. But yeah, I know we had conversations about, I should have done things different, or, things were different. And that's the great thing about being a grandma is you can do it different.
That's true. It's a good point.
And, get back at your kids for being rotten by turning their kids into little buggers.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so your funny one.
Yeah, so this one's called I Lie Sometimes. Or sorry, sometimes, nope, it's I Lie Sometimes. I switch the title over it every once in a while. I lie sometimes. Sometimes I lie to get through the day. Often I tell you there's no other way. I lie to my kids about whose snack is bigger. I tell them it's equal. If not, then I trigger a damn fight about how her portion's way smaller. Like I give a damn duck. Please cut out the holler. When they see a fast food bag, I lie about that. Did you go without us? No, it's from a while back. I lie when I need just a minute alone. Up here going pee, guys, when I'm on my phone. It's a lie when I threaten that they won't go see their grandma and grandpa if they disobey me. That one right there is the tallest lie of all. My rents are my weekend warriors, and mama needs a trip to the mall. There is only one thing about which I don't lie, and that's that I love them from here to the sky.
Aww.
Thanks. That one needs a little work, I realized.
No, that one is funny and sweet all at the same time. And you don't have to be a mom to lie about the fast food bags that are hidden in the car.
Yeah, I know, right?
I have a husband that...
That's true.
I'm starving, Dave.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Where's the last time Nora just hit the garbage bag on the way in?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my goodness. So do you see yourself doing this on stage every few months or?
Yeah. So I'm having a really good time with that part of it. I'm enjoying putting it together. I'm really enjoying being up there. And so as long as it kind of everything keeps falling into place the way that it is, I want to keep doing that. So and then maybe the next step is kind of just bigger theater, bigger stage, something like that. So
That'll
we'll see.
be exciting. Now, do you find that your followers that you have or the subscribers to your Friday thing, are they all local or are you noticing some from outside of our area?
Yeah, definitely mostly local. I definitely have some followers from around the world, I guess.
That's cool.
Different, like we've connected on Instagram years ago, or things like that. Like a few people signing up for my newsletter on my website, when they click from wherever, kind of thing. So yeah, there are I'm international, but very few compared to.
But that's
Windsor.
okay. It's a start.
No, yeah, anything is like those kinds of things. Like because I didn't have anything to sell until I started this show, and my one in May and the one coming up, I would look at those newsletter subscriber emails as like my monetary piece, So that was me jumping for joy when somebody from Germany signing up for my newsletter type thing. So those moments are like really special for sure. On my website too, I can see my website visits, and other than Canada and the US, my next biggest, actually I think it's more than the US, is Germany. It's consistently Germany.
here.
Oh, okay. So maybe there's something to be said there. I don't know what
Germany
that is.
and Belgium are my next top ones. And it's like I don't know if there's people that were from the area that live
something
there
like
or
that,
family, but
I don't know either. Yeah, because we would both have Windsor as our whatever,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, I don't know.
but it's cool.
Yeah, I'll take it. It's awesome for sure.
So where can they find you online?
Yep. So I am probably the most active on Instagram.
Yeah.
As
Same.
you know, Tracy. Yeah. TikTok. All of my handles are all at Mom Said Duck. I do have a newsletter called Fresh Poem Friday. You can subscribe for that on my what's more reliable is probably my Instagram link tree than my website, because half the time I'm like, oh, it's like there's some sort of issue. I'm like, what? I hate that kind of stuff. But my link tree in my link in bio on Instagram is where you can find my Fresh Poem Friday newsletter subscriber sign up. And that one always seems to be working. So that's where I kind of, let out all my big announcements. I always have, I don't know if you're on my newsletter or not, Tracy, but I always have my ticket sales there earlier than anywhere else. They get an extra week. They get like a little sidebar code or whatever that they go in with. And
I suck with my with my email because I have my podcast email, my regular email, and then photography email. And I need to go through and start unsubscribing to things because I find that I accidentally delete important ones because I'm just going through and there's like 25 different things that I don't want to do. I miss so much. I miss so much.
Oh, it's just another task for us, right? So
why not? So how are you on TikTok? Because you have a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, it's just, I'll be honest, it's just like regurgitated from Instagram type thing.
Well, I post the same thing. And it's funny because some things on Instagram will take off like crazy and other ones will be really stagnant, but they go nuts on TikTok.
I've never had anything go nuts ever once, so I can't compare.
Well, I haven't had anything go nuts except for one, and I mean, it's not nuts. It was like 12,000. So, ooh.
Yeah.
And it was stupid.
Yeah. Either way, it's better than anything I've ever gotten. But that's fine. Whatever. To me, it's like social media is important for sure, and I want to keep. That's a focus of mine in next year is to get more into YouTube Shorts. And so I think that's part of where my market lives.
Yes.
And so I want to get into that more. And I think that my material is appropriate for that platform. So I want to look at that a little bit more. I'm
almost thinking, because I do a lot on YouTube because the podcast is on YouTube. Shorts are really hard to do because Reels on Instagram are a minute and 30 seconds, but shorts are like 60 seconds long. It's almost like you could if you did one that was a little longer than a minute, classify it as like a mini podcast. And you might be able to, because it's hard to get things down to a minute, especially if you're doing a poem.
And they're all 2 to 3 minutes long. And that's something that I've faced, until they opened up the reel to, I think it's a minute and a half now.
Oh, on YouTube?
I know on Instagram.
Instagram, yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, even that is like, because my poems are 2 to 3 minutes long, half the time, I feel like I have to like run through them, which isn't fun either. So I very much have to try to sort of fit into social media, which I don't love, but it's, part of the rat race, I guess.
Same here. I'm doing the same thing. Everybody keeps saying reels.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll do them. And I mean, I'm finding that I have more people that actually look at my posts than they do the reels, because I'm not that interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, not that you're not interesting.
Seconds.
What I think is that, for me anyway, is that I'm not a marketer, right? And so it being, I think the biggest whirlwind for me with regards to being an entrepreneur is that you have to be, my husband always says this, that you have to be the CEO first. So whatever, you think you're a mom poet, nope, you're the CEO. So you're that first, and you have to kind of make sure that from a bird's eye view, everything is sort of working in tandem, kind of thing. And so I didn't expect to have to be the marketer and the IT department
and it's hard.
All the things. Yeah. And it's like, I just want to write poems and say them on a stage, and it's like, okay, well, that's not really how it works. You got to pull it all together. You got to create a website, or you got to pay somebody to do it, which is like, sometimes you have to kind of pick and choose what you put that to. What do you put your time to? What do you put your resources to? How much money are you going to spend on A, B, and C? Like, there's so much.
Oh, I know. And people are like, you do your own social media? And I'm like, okay, this is $0 an hour plus benefits. I make zero money. So how am I supposed to pay somebody to do my social media or to do my website? I'm just trying to figure this out as I go along, and at 54, it sucks. But I mean,
yeah, but I think that there's something to be said about, passing things off when it makes sense, or when the time is right, or, all that kind of stuff. Like, I know for sure that if I were to make Mom Said Duck fiscally successful, that marketing's the first person or first people that I would hire, So, because I don't know enough about it. It's like its own entity. It's super important. It's probably the most important. Your marketing's probably more, I shouldn't say more, but just as important as the thing you're putting out, the talent that you're doing, or the thing that you're creating, or whatever it is that you have to,
it's true.
You have to be able to market it, because if people don't see your work, what's the point?
Exactly.
People have to be able to see you.
People need to see you. They need to see that your poems and listen to you. And it needs to, I seriously think you need to, if you're not going to do it, get a marketer, because your poems are wonderful. And I'm trying to figure out the right words for it, but they make it okay to say duck. They make it okay to say, did I make a wrong decision here having kids? Obviously, we don't feel that way, but there are days when it's like, oh man, I wish I was still single. I wish I was,
Yeah, some days are tough.
They are tough.
I definitely touch on that kind of stuff in the poems, where it's like, I think in one, it's like, some days I want to hide, and it's true. Like,
yeah,
today started out like that. In fact, I looked back on my Instagram and I was like, oh my gosh, I was so saucy.
But that was
to
okay.
my audience. But like, I mean, that's like the ups and downs of the day, Like, I feel like I almost have to go on and apologize to everyone.
No,
for being so saucy to everybody.
You were not being saucy whatsoever. Okay. You were just like, oh my God, seriously, this happened?
Yeah.
And I mean, you're making it okay to have those feelings. We all have those feelings. You're not alone, and you're making light of it.
Yeah,
and
thanks.
That's why I really want everybody to follow Mom Said Duck, and I really want to see a book coming out, and I want to see you have a ton of these shows, because I just have a blast.
Aw, that's so amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you for being the inspo behind one of the poems when I set it up on the stage. I wasn't originally going to say one of my poems, but Tracy in the last interview was like, okay, you got to talk about these poop diapers. You got to talk. Oh no, it was
corn poop.
That's right. I said, okay, this one's for Tracy Martins from YQG and Bloom.
Oh, come on. Corn poop. That's the best. It's like, how does it come out whole?
Yeah.
You have to talk about that.
You really get a close-up when it's your kids. You're wiping it.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't want the kernel in my...
Yeah, like, well, yeah, I guess.
Can I just rinse this off and give it for the next dinner?
Yeah, it's so funny.
Oh, gosh. Well, thank you so much, Jill. I really appreciate
Thanks for
you
having
being
me.
here.
Oh my gosh, anytime. Like when you asked me to come back, I'm like, yes, I got an invite back. Yes. So anytime I would love to come back.
Of course.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you. Thank you for making us all laugh. It was
That's
awesome.
So sweet. Thank you so much. It means so much. Thank you. That's what this is the whole point of it, right? Is like to make moms just like sit back and giggle. And I think that
we need it.
If I've learned anything, it's that if you don't laugh, you cry. So it's like, if we can turn something into a giggle that should otherwise be something that, wants to put you in a home, then let's do it. Let's just have fun with it. So yeah.
It saves a lot of gray hairs, that's for sure.
Awesome. That's good. That's so good to hear.
Yeah. Thank you. And again, my name is Tracy Martins. I want to thank you for joining me for another episode of YQG and Bloom. Make sure to like and subscribe to the podcast so that I can keep this going for all local businesses, events, people in the Windsor-Essex County area. And I do it for free so that they are able to afford the chance to get out and be a little bit more known. So you guys have a wonderful day.